are dancing on Sports Stampede. I'm Michael Klahr.
I'm Jason Hirsch.
And guess what? Tomorrow, I'm looking forward to this. In my family, they call me the OG. Not the original gangster.
Not the original gangster?
The original grandpa and great-grandpa. I tell people, there was a time.
You were OG, though, back in the day.
I was. That's right. I was terrible.
Back when you were hanging out with those NBA guys.
I was terrible. Actually, I had a gang in Manhattan growing up. I was head of the Devil's Gang.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and that lasted till I was about 9.5.
You guys were.
You
guys were the bad boys of the neighborhood, right?
I accidentally knocked the kid's teeth out.
Rode your bike without
in the
training
playground
wheels
when I was a little kid. Yeah, exactly. And I got a reputation I didn't deserve, and it hopefully kept me out of fights. But until I started boxing, and then nothing could help me. But Argonaut, Father's Day, you can find terrific wine. And if you're like me, you can find terrific wine under $10. I told you a story the last couple of weeks. No kidding. Award-winning wines at Argonaut. The 2013 Wild Stock Willamette Pinot Noir from the Willamette Valley. Springtime in your glass. Oregon cherries, cranberries, rich raspberries, right? Suggested $24.99 with an email. Go online and find this stuff. If you sign up for their email list, $9.99 for and it's a rated international wine.
$10 for a bottle of wine,
points.
right?
Incredible. The best prices in Denver.
Wow.
The largest liquor store in the city limits of Denver.
I need to get over there.
Argonaut Wine Liquor, 760 East Colfax, and as my former partner used to say, I don't have to get off the couch because they deliver.
What?
All right. Time for Rockin Company's Rockin CU, family-owned and operated in Colorado, 5 decades, 2 generations. Historic and modern masons, general contractors, build it with rock. Build with Rockin Company, rockinco.com. And we welcome in the publisher, our weekly guest, buffstampede.com on the Yahoo Rivals Network. Follow him on Twitter at AdamCM777. And good morning, Adam.
Good morning. I don't know if my coffee just hasn't kicked in yet. Did you say you ran a gang until you were 9.5 years old?
I was head of the Devil's Gang in Manhattan.
They rode their bikes without training wheels.
Yeah, we were tough. And, well, as long as we didn't leave the apartment development and cross 14th Street, we did okay. But
that was the rival gang's turf.
Yeah, that was that's right. You cross 14th Street, but stay on 14th Street to buy baseball cards. But that was about it. Back then.
Get your pack of
People
gum.
don't realize. I didn't realize it as a kid, but parts of Manhattan were segregated even back then. It was a different world in the 1950s. I'll tell you. And thank goodness that's changed. Let's start with a non-breaking, more of a breaking story and a non-urgent story. Spencer Dinwiddie dumped by Detroit to the rebuilding Bulls, and this could be the chance. He's been the fourth point guard kind of in Detroit's roster after leaving CU early, a move I rued, and I could tell his coach privately grieved over, but while supporting Spencer. But with the Bulls, I think Spencer Dinwiddie has a chance to see some NBA playing time.
I think so. Obviously, I think the Bulls value him maybe a little bit more than the Pistons did. It was just a tough situation for him. It looked like he was going to get a chance to play this last season, and then they bring in Steve Blake, and that relegates him to third-string duty, and just really never got a chance. In the few times he did get out there in games, it seemed like he performed pretty well. Obviously, there was something missing there in Detroit, so hopefully a change of scenery will end up benefiting Spencer long-term here.
Yeah, he was behind Reggie Jackson, couldn't beat out Blake while Brandon Jennings was there. He was behind Brandon Jennings, and finally got out of the developmental league up to the big club, but really never saw playing time. Changing to an older story that broke this week, Tate Martell, number 1 dual-threat quarterback in America, commits, I guess not surprisingly, to the biggest name of the 3 finalists that you identified in the show last week, Cal, Colorado, and, of course, he's going to Ohio State, not having to worry about the fact they had commitments from all kinds of 4-stars. He jumps in as a 5-star.
Yeah, we'll see how this plays out. Obviously, Ohio State is the front runner here because he gave them a verbal commitment, and we kind of knew that the Buckeyes, like you mentioned there, were one of the schools he was really high on. Now, Tate Martell has said that he plans to take other official visits in the fall, so this is one of the situations you want to probably keep an eye on. If he does come to Colorado, he said a few times that he would do so with some other guys from Las Vegas, so it may be a peer pressure package deal type situation. So we'll see how the recruitment of those other Bishop Gorman guys goes, as well as Greg Rogers, who's from Las Vegas, that's high on Colorado. I always caution Colorado fans not to expect Tate Martell to end up in Boulder, but to just kind of watch the situation. That would still be the case even after he verbally committed to Ohio State.
So you're not saying it's done. Are you saying there's still a shot here that Tate Martell could change his mind?
Yeah, it's obviously just a verbal commitment at this point in time. Nothing's going to be binding until that first Wednesday in February, and Tate Martell has said that he plans to take other official visits. He's always been upfront about that, even with the Ohio State staff, so it's not necessarily groundbreaking news. Maybe to some people when they just hear about the commitment, but Tate Martell has always said that he plans to take some other trips in the fall.
Well, it would be quite a coup for Colorado.
Yeah, I was just, what are things that Colorado can do to attract or kind of sway or persuade Tate to come into Boulder and be part of that program? I mean, is it a facility thing? Is it a program thing? Or is it, like you said, there might be a peer pressure thing?
Yeah, I think their recruitment of those other guys out in Las Vegas, those other highly regarded guys that are high on Colorado, is as important as anything, because Tate Martell has said he sees Colorado as an opportunity for early playing time, and if he feels like he's going out there with some guys that he knows are really good football players, he's going to feel better about what they can do in terms of potentially turning things around at Colorado. That's kind of the sales pitch. Obviously, the facilities are there now. It's a matter of getting him on campus to see those facilities. So basically, just continue to recruit him, and with those facilities, with those Flatirons, with the chance of maybe getting some of his buddies and teammates out here, you've at least got a puncher's chance there.
Well, he said he would visit. Has he visited yet?
He has not.
Oh, okay. So
So there's still a chance.
Yeah, there's still a chance he'll visit. That'll be great. And it's early enough in the recruitment for the 2017 class. If they need to, they can offer everybody on the entire Bishop Gorman special teams a scholarship if that's what it takes to get Tate Martell in here, because that could lead a parade of other talent when you get a big-name recruit like that. Where does that leave the Buffs, though, in terms of quarterback prospects like Tyler Lydell, that they have a better shot at?
Yeah, well, it's interesting. Tyler Lydell had said for a long time, hey, I'm going to commit early June, and then he said, yeah, I'll make a decision by June 15th, and obviously we passed that date. Tyler Lydell is still very high on Colorado, but he has not made that call yet. Vanderbilt was one of the top 3 schools in consideration for him, and they picked up a commitment from a quarterback yesterday, so that's another positive sign for Colorado here. It basically is continuing to recruit him and try to get Tyler Lydell on board. It's still looking good. It still looks, I don't know, I put maybe a 70% chance that he'll commit to Colorado here by the end of the month. So that's the main guy right now. And if something happens there where he goes elsewhere, they've been evaluating some other quarterbacks at these camps that they've been working in June. So we'll kind of, if Tyler Lydell doesn't pick Colorado at that point, we'll kind of see where they go in terms of a backup plan.
If you put Tyler Lydell next to Tate Martell, how do you compare and contrast in terms of skills and overall ability?
Well, Tate Martell's a dual-threat quarterback. He is a good passer, is an accurate thrower, but he's going to bring a little bit of a different dimension there, a little bit more of a dynamic type of quarterback behind center, whereas Tyler Lydell's very, very talented, but more of kind of that traditional pro-style type of quarterback that's going to sit back in the pocket and try to pick you apart with his arm. And, not that Colorado's going to necessarily sign both of those guys, but one thing to keep an eye on is that Colorado will be trying to sign 2 quarterbacks this year, because after this upcoming season, you're only going to have Steven Montez and Sam Neuer, just 2 scholarship quarterbacks on the roster.
Freshmen are arriving in Boulder this weekend coming up, and you wanted us to kind of look at and go head-to-head here on who will be the impact freshman. You asked me to pick someone. I know a lot of people are high on a transfer, Kabion Ento, wide receiver. I didn't like his hands in the spring game, so I'm going to go with a freshman, Bo Bisharat out of Carmel, California, 4-star. He's the big back at 6'3" that Darian Hagan wants. I don't know how ready he is, but I know his attitude is ready. And then the other guys I'm looking for coming in this year are JUCOs, really, so they don't qualify, like linebacker Drew Lewis, maybe the safety. I haven't seen him, Kyle Trago.
Yeah, Bisharat's a good pick there. He's going to be he's getting on campus this weekend, and he'll be 3 inches taller and 10 pounds heavier than any back on CU's roster. So, like you said, the big back there. Darian Hagan told me in the spring that they want to use a lot of 2-back sets, and so they expect Bisharat to be kind of the bigger back type of role in those 2-back sets. I could also see some other guys, some other freshmen making an impact. One guy, Johnny Huntley, CU does have pretty decent depth at receiver going into camp, but with his size and his ability to high point the ball, particularly in the end zone, I think Huntley brings a little bit of a different dimension to that wide receivers group, so I could see him playing this season. Ronnie Blackman, I think, could be maybe your starting punt returner, also be in the mix to return kicks this year. If you watch his film in high school, he was absolutely dynamic as a returner, and I could see him being a depth piece in the secondary. There were only 3 scholarship cornerbacks on the roster this spring, so they bring in Ronnie Blackman there, Trey Udofia, and Karan Bayham, 3 incoming freshman cornerbacks. One of those guys is going to have to get in the mix and get their feet wet this season.
I like that because I like the cornerbacks they have up there. And I didn't think about that. Huntley was on my list. I should have mentioned him as another freshman could make an impact, so I'm really glad to hear about that. Adam, we got about half a minute. What's going on at Buff Stampede?
Tonight, the Buffaloes will be having their second camp up in Boulder. It's called Under the Lights, and so we're going to be up there covering that camp, so look for a lot of recruiting news here in the upcoming days.
BuffStampede.com, must-reading, Adam Munsterteiger, Adam CM777. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you,
guys.
And that's Rockin Company's Rockin CU, family-owned and operated in Colorado, 5 decades, 2 generations, historic and modern masons and general contractors. Build it with Rock, Build it with Rockin Company, rockinco.com.